Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer bringing you Mail Monday, a weekly series that's not about the gameplay, but instead is about the letters that you send to me and the answers that I give to you. This week is a little different in that, due to your request, I have skipped over all the sex questions. It was so difficult to ignore the YouTube gold of the guy that gets boners thinking about his sister, but I'm doing it, and we're going to make this happen, so let's get this kicked off. I'm 16 and a junior in high school. A lot of my friends are always going to these semi-huge parties and I'm usually excluded. I don't drink or even like alcohol, but I feel like it'd be the only way to fit in. The thing is, I don't want to fit in. I just feel like I'm a part of the grade and not isolated all the time. I think he means I want to feel like I'm part of the grade and not isolated all the time. So let's talk about drinking at parties. It's optional. It really is. Now, I know I'm going to sound like, the dad that doesn't want kids drinking or something along those lines, but in my experience, if you want to get away with not drinking at a party, you should have a drink in your hand. It doesn't even have to be an alcoholic drink. It can be that, infamous red cup that's at all the parties supposed to be filled with beer. You can put a Coke in there and lie about its contents. You could put a Pepsi in there and not lie about its contents. I don't care. They both kind of work. But that's the thing. Cap and be like a boss. It's dangerous on this map. Anyway, so I wish I had the perfect advice. There are people who are going to be like, drink checkers and whatever. And if you can just sort of, keep your head high and have a self-confidence about you that makes it, that gives off this vibe that, you don't give a hoot whether or not they approve of your drink choice, then you'll be in good shape. So just having something in your hand is going to ward off 80% of the people, and the other 20 you can handle on your own and be like, it's not my thing, or I'm just not down tonight. You can claim to be designated driver. You're a junior in high school, maybe you're driving at this point. So and then that works too, right? Usually I think the designated driver gets a little bit of slack for taking that role. So best of luck to you. But a big key to this thing is kind of just keeping this self-important air about you, where you're not so vulnerable to what other people think of you. Do you think that the COD YouTube community will be as popular as it is now in the next couple of years? Do you think that COD will still be the #1 game in that time? I'm interested to see your response as a commentator. Thanks. Yeah, so COD's actually not the #1 game. Minecraft is the #1 game on YouTube right now in terms of like popularity and views and stuff like that. For a while, StarCraft was the #1 game, but I feel like COD has sort of passed it. They have annual updates, and StarCraft updates a lot less than that. I think the other part of the question that you didn't ask is, will COD continue to be the top shooter? And, the answer is like no, right? It can't stay on top forever. I predict that the next thing that comes along and actually beats COD isn't, a better Call of Duty than Call of Duty is. It's going to be something that plays a whole lot differently. I just had this notion that, like, if a new Team Fortress 2 were released, that it could potentially knock Call of Duty off its spot, right? Something fun that isn't, a modern military shooter is probably, in my guess, the next thing to knock off Call of Duty. I'm here just trying to guard Bravo. It's the only flag we have left. Will it last forever? No, but I think that the same group of people will probably evolve to the next shooter. I don't think COD skills seem to, there's a lot of games where skills kind of translate to the next one. And the Call of Duty guys will probably, jump in other shooters and be just fine. And that'll be that. So, I do want to say though, I think the personalities only have like a, 3, 5, 7 year lifespan before people start looking at new guys and enjoy their stuff and their new stories and the new things that they bring to the table. So whatever, my reign will someday end and I'll go back to a regular job and I'll be just fine. So that's how I see this thing playing out. Hey Woody, last month I had a friend over and my family is kind of rich. I have a 5-story house and my mom owns a Bugatti and 5 Lambos and 2 Ford trucks, and my friend and I had fun. Well, the next week he told everyone that I was rich and all the things I have, and now a lot of kids are acting like they are my friends, but they're not. They're just wanting to come to my house and try to be cool and getting on my nerves, and I want it to stop. The second problem is that since the thing has been going around, the money's kind of been going to my head, and I'm falling into it and getting a 3.0, and before I was getting a 4.6. Please help me. So these numbers, let me explain a little bit. In the United States, if you get an A, the top grade, then that counts as a 4. If you get an A in honors classes, then that counts as a 5 sometimes, and a 3.0 is kind of a low B average, maybe even some C's mixed in there if he's getting them in honors classes. So his grades are dropping compared to where he was before. Regarding people using you because you come from a wealthy family, I deal with something similar on myself. In my case, it's not money. I'm not rich, but in my case, it's this like YouTube fame, right? In our own little subset, right, of like Call of Duty players, I'm fairly well known, and there are a ton of people who want to get next to me, not because they truly like who I am on the inside, but because they want to get their own level of either YouTube or Call of Duty fame or something like that, right? They don't like me for me, they like me for what I can do for them. And what it's done is it's made me really sort of cautious. And look at that gift, he popped right in front of me. But it's made me really cautious in how I meet new people. Like I used to be, kind of really open to it, and just assumed, I don't know, I'd hop into lobbies, I'd talk to everybody. And now I always feel like, this is the next hater around the corner. It scarred me a little bit, or I'll make a friend and then not talk to him for a few weeks, not out of my malice or anything, but just because whatever, like, dude, I know hundreds of people, and I don't talk to all of them every day, and a lot of guys are just totally cool with that. But there are some who are like, Woody, what happened? You changed. I didn't change. I just didn't reach out to you. You didn't reach out to me. Why are you mad? Another gift popping right in front of me. So yeah, I wish I had perfect advice other than, I wouldn't let this go to your head. Especially in your case, it's not really something that you've done or something that you've accomplished. Try to manage it and be wary of meeting new people and make sure that they're actually into you for you and not into you for what you can do for them. That's the poor rich kid burden that you're going to have to cope with. So best of luck. Hey Woody, I feel like my life needs to stop and I have terrible grades and everyone thinks I'm stupid. I'm 14 and my girlfriend lasted a year and 10 months, which is a long time for 14 years old. And she just broke up with me about a week ago. I still love her so much and I don't think I can take this cruel world anymore. My mom and brother tell me I do nothing right and I'm stupid and annoying. My dad is on drugs and I can't see him. My teachers think I'm stupid as well. I have friends and everything, but they just don't see me like the real me. And I'm just afraid to hurt in front of everyone. I think suicide is the only way out. Please help me, Woody. I get a lot of suicide letters. It's a burden that I struggle with, but this isn't about me. It's the common theme that runs across these suicide letters is typically this feeling of hopelessness. That's the toughest part of it all. It's not so much like, hey, Woody, this thing went wrong, right? No one gets suicidal over a car accident, which is, a pretty rough thing to deal with. Like, it's a big shakeup. No one gets suicidal over their house getting robbed, which is also a really tough thing to deal with. People get suicidal because they don't see a better future for themselves. In your case, you've got this girl who you've been dating for almost 2 years at 14 years old, which is forever to someone at that point. And you've got, grades and relationship issues inside your family. And you're there thinking like, man, this isn't going to get better. This stinks. And I'm not sure how to get out of this spot. But you're 14, right? And your life is so long. It's difficult to see. At this point, you think like, wow, these high school years, this 14-year-old thing, it's the springboard that's going to set up the rest of my life. And I got off to what you think is a bad start, and you're not going to recover from it. But that's not the case at all. The actual case is that this is going to be a faded memory at some point, and you're going to have an entire life that's pretty much independent of your performance at 14 years old. I wish that I could say the magic thing that would turn this around for you, right? Like I remember when I was in high school and they were teaching us about depression, everyone had this idea like, can you solve it by putting them in a happy situation? Like a trip to a theme park will suddenly, make everything cool. Like a trip to the theme park or whatever, a ride on the Ferris wheel is going to solve depression. It doesn't, right? And when a guy is depressed, they can still have fun. They just don't. It's like not extended. It's a temporary relief from their month or months long state of mind. So what can I say to you? I don't know. Just keep in mind that like this year that you're having is not the springboard for your entire life. It's not the thing that determines how you turn out. It's just 1 year, 1 year like so many others, and you're gonna turn this thing around. And this girl, you know what? I'm sure she was a special girl if you managed to be with her for almost 2 years. But she's not the only special girl. And you can't, man, that so many more fish in the sea thing falls on deaf ears to someone who's in your current state. But I'm telling you, you're going to find other girls who are even better than her. You're going to, you spend enough time with someone, and, the new wears off and the old shines through. And look, she wasn't perfect in every way. 2 years in, the thing wasn't going better than it's ever been going before. So yeah, just try to keep that in mind. And things are gonna be okay if you let them be okay. Things are going to turn around if you let them turn around, Predatored. So yeah, life is long. And if you give it a chance, it will turn around, and you're going to be all right through this thing. Hey, Woody, big fan of your videos, and I think your advice is just what I need. Ever since I've had to do public speaking starting in high school, I've always been nervous and found some way to make myself look stupid in front of my audience. I can't get my words out, I go red, and sometimes I even shake. I know that feeling nervous is normal, but sometimes for me it's out of control. Also, I have to do a short speech to an audience of about 60 or so for college in December, so any advice you give would really help. I'd appreciate it if you keep this anonymous. I always keep things anonymous, bro. So I've done a bunch of public speaking, and for me, the success I have is almost completely tied into the amount of expertise I have on the topic. If you walk in there and you really know what you're talking about, right? You're not winging it, you're not hoping it works out well. This is a topic that you live and breathe, then you're going to do great. That's how it works out for me. If you walk in there and hope that no one gives you the tough questions, then you're going to struggle. That's just how it goes down. So know your material and do some practice runs. I've gotten to where that when I do public speaking, I usually just practice run quietly. I don't speak it out loud. But you can do that too if that's what works for you. Anyway, yeah, public speaking, the key to it is knowing what you're doing and being an expert on the topic. And if you have that, then you'll be all right. The other thing to keep in mind that helps me a lot is the audience doesn't want you to fail. They're not there just hoping that you turn red and fall down and faint on stage. Instead, they're on your side. And if you keep that in mind, sometimes it helps me keep this whole thing in perspective. We're same team here, and it's going to be all right. All right, now both of yesterday's videos were really well received, which makes me feel good. Not every video I put up is the best video I've ever made, and I'm always happy when I feel like I'm doing it right or on a hot streak. The top one was in a Modern Warfare 3 patch update, and in that one I talk about the things that Infinity Ward has fixed lately, the changes that they've made, and some of the changes that they haven't made, some of the glitches that still exist out there. The bottom one is about this TV show called Sister Wives, and it's a guy who has 4 wives. I talk about that concept of marriage, and I talk about gay marriage too, and compare the two of them. So yeah, I'm psyched. I feel like I'm making good videos lately. So if you enjoyed this one, click on subscribe in the top right, surprise video on the side, t-shirts, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, etc. Links in the description, and have a nice day.